Today, we're heading back in time for another retro rebuild. And in this episode, we are in FIFA 16 taking over as the new manager at Wolfsburg. Almost a decade ago, Wolfsburg was one of the top teams in the Bundesliga, finishing in second place in the 2014-15 campaign. And with players like Kevin De Bruyne, Luis Gustavo, Naldo, and Andre Schürrle, they seemed like a great team to manage. So welcome back to ELS Gaming, and if you go on to enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe down below, as well as comment any retro rebuild suggestions that you would like to see. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So here is our starting 11 at Wolfsburg. There's definitely some decent pieces like Kevin De Bruyne. This is right before he went to Man City. He's a great asset. Naldo is an 85. He's a decent center back, though aging. He could be good for a while. And we do have a couple other solid players like Perisic and Kruse, as well as Andre Schürrle, but this team does need a lot of work if we want to win the Champions League. And for Season 1, we are starting off with an initial budget of 54 million, should be able to get us at least a couple of decent talents. And looking back at the team, I think I want a new right back as well as a new center back that could grow and develop. But before any of that, we have our first departure of the season, Diego Beneglio, our starting goalkeeper. He's headed to Arsenal for 18 million. We're going to have to look for a goalie too. Next up is our first signing, a new young center back, a Frenchman, Koulibaly from Napoli. We got him for 14 million. Next departure is Christian Trash out to Mönchengladbach for 6.2 million. And next up, we have our goalkeeper replacement, another Swiss goalkeeper. This time, it's Jan Sommer, going to be joining us from Mönchengladbach for 22 million. Next up is another departure out of the club. Varinia is headed out to Monaco for 22.5 million. That was followed by a brand new right back signing. We headed to PSG, and we are going to be signing Serge Aurier for 24 million. So after a lot of those transfers, this is how the team looks. It looks pretty solid. And as we reach the end of deadline day, there were no more signings in the window. So this is the official squad we're going to go into Season 1 here at Wolfsburg. But before we go to January, Serge Aurier, who we just signed, has just got injured for 3 months. Very unfortunate, but let's go to January. All right, jumping forward to January 1st, we are sitting in 4th place on 31 points. We're doing okay. 4th is all right for Season 1. I'm happy about that. Our goal for this season has to finish in a Champions League spot, so I'm not too upset about how we are right now. As well as looking at the Champions League this season, because they obviously qualified in real life, we were put in quite the difficult group. So obviously we went out to Real Madrid and Juventus. Very tough group. I was not expecting to win that at all. That's why I barely showed it. So we're just going to have to focus on the rest of the Bundesliga season. And we do have a transfer for this January. It is a new outside midfielder, JarredHD. We're going to be picking him up from Everton. We got him for 20 million, not a bad piece of business. And Deulofeu was our only piece of business this January. Deadline day comes to a close. Let's see how we do at the end of the season. And jumping forward to the end of the season, we did end up finishing in 4th place, just as we were in January. It was kind of a one-horse race. Bayern Munich absolutely ran away with the Bundesliga title, and the rest of us were way behind. But 4th place is not that bad. I'm pretty sure that qualifies us for Champions League at this point. So I'm very excited about that. That's a very good start to this rebuild. But we are not done in this season. We did manage to make it all the way to the DFB Pokal final, and we are going to be playing Bayern Munich. And in that final, we ended up winning 2-0, giving us our first trophy of the season, or should I say of the rebuild. All right, Season 2, after a decently successful Season 1, this is how the squad looks. I'm trying to phase out a couple of these older players and bring in some new, younger replacements for them. So for this season, I think I'm just going to look for some general upgrades for the squad. I'm not really sure where to go in for, but this squad, it looks okay. It's got potential for the future. And we are starting off with an initial budget of 69 million to work with. That is a lot of money for how our team looks. That should be very nice for us. And as our first piece of business on the season, we are selling Tim Klose. He's headed off for 8 million. As well as another departure, Bas Dost is headed off to Udinese for 13 million, not a bad price for the Dutchman. That then leads us to our very first signing of the window. It is a new center back, a Frenchman. Before he went on to go do great things at Barcelona and in the World Cup, we are signing Umtiti from Lyon. We got him for 25 million. He should be a nice asset to this team. That was followed by another signing, a young CDM from Braga, someone that could grow and develop over the course of this rebuild. We are signing Danilo from Braga for 16.5 million. And after those two signings, we still have 52 million to work with. I'm not really sure who to go in. We have also made it all the way to deadline day, so if I'm going to spend this money, I got to spend it soon. So using that money, we have found our deadline day signing, Paulo Dybala, a young Paulo Dybala. We're going to be signing him from Juventus for 35 million. So as deadline day came to a close, this is what our team looks like at the end of the opening transfer window. There is a lot of great talent surrounding Kevin De Bruyne. I'm really looking forward to this squad. We definitely still have a long way to go as everyone is still very young and has room to grow, but this team does look very solid. Let's see how we do in the Champions League this season and in the Bundesliga. I'll see you in January. But before we go to January, we actually had to go through a Champions League qualifiers. I'm not even sure who we played, but we won 2-0 in the first leg, as well as in the second leg, it was a 2-1 victory. So that means we officially qualified for the Champions League, and we were put into a definitely easier group than last year. Our only real competition is PSG, but this is actually a very good group to be able to advance into the round of 16. All right, jumping ahead to January 1st, having a look at the Bundesliga table, we are sitting in 4th place, but it is a very tight battle. We are only a single point behind 2nd place Schalke, and Borussia Dortmund is not too far ahead of them as well, so anything could happen this season. We are sitting in a pretty decent spot. But no moves were made this January. Nothing needed to change. We didn't have much money, so let's continue on. And having a look at the Champions League group stage, we unfortunately finished in 3rd place. Unfortunately, us, Besiktas, and Club Brugge all finished on 7 points, kicking us out of the Champions League, but it does mean I believe we are in the Europa League for the rest of the season, but that's unfortunate. Definitely a group that we could have gotten out of. Jumping forward to the end of the season, we finished in 3rd place. It is an improvement on last season. Bayern Munich actually finished in 4th, so I think it was definitely an improvement on last season. And since we're in 3rd this time, we are automatically in the Champions League for next season. As well as in the DFB Pokal, we were eliminated in the quarterfinals to Augsburg. And in the Europa League, we did manage to make it to the semifinals. Pretty solid, but we unfortunately lost to Valencia. So with a kind of disappointing season, let's move on to Season 3. Alright, this is what the team looks like in Season 3. Some pretty solid growth from some players that I was not expecting. Max Kruse is up to an 84, as well as Andre Schürrle an 84 as well. I was not expecting that at all, but I'm very glad that is happening. Looking at some transfers that could happen, Naldo is sitting at the ripe age of 34, and he's going to have to go at some point in this rebuild, so I think I'm going to look for another center back this season, as well as a couple other upgrades to improve this team. We are starting off with a budget of 77 million. That should be able to get us at least a new center back for Naldo. And straight off the bat, as our very first departure of the season, Real Madrid came in for an offer for Naldo, and we accepted it. Naldo is headed to Real Madrid for 11 million. Next up, we were looking for another CDM as some depth. We went in for Napoli's Allen. We were able to get him for a not as bad of a price, 32 million. It's a little steep, but I think he's going to be a great player. And that was followed by Naldo's replacement center back. We are getting a Frenchman, Aymeric Laporte. We're signing him from Athletic Bilbao for 43 million. A great replacement into the squad. So that was the only business that we did this window. We are at deadline day, only the 2 transfers into the squad. So this is what the team looks like at the end of the deadline. Defense looks solid, midfield looks solid, the offense is growing. This team is probably only a season away. I like what we're doing with this team. Let's see how we're doing in January. And simulating to January 1st, we are doing the best we have ever done. We are sitting in second place, only a single point behind first place. We are doing fantastic. I think we have a real shot of winning the Bundesliga this season. Bayern and Dortmund are slipping behind, so this is going to be our best chance to win the Bundesliga. But in January, we didn't make any transfers, no business to report about. So that moves us on into the Champions League. We crushed the group stage, so we're going to jump right into the round of 16 where we are facing Real Madrid. And in the first leg, it is a very surprising 2-1 victory somehow against Real Madrid. That's a great first leg. And in the second leg, it is going to be a 0-0 draw. So actually, we are going through against Real Madrid into the quarterfinals. I don't know how we've managed to pull that off, but good for us. So that puts us into the quarterfinals against another tough opponent in Arsenal. And the first leg is a 2-1 loss, putting us back onto the earth. And in the second leg, we need a big result here, and we get it. It's a 2-0 victory against Arsenal, meaning we go through 3-2 on aggregate, somehow beating another good opponent. Wow. So in the semifinals of the Champions League, we are playing Manchester United. And versus another Premier League club, the first leg was a 1-0 loss. But in the second leg, it was a 0-0 draw, meaning we were knocked out of the Champions League. Honestly, a very great Champions League run by us, making it to the semifinals. I had no intention of making it that far this early, so that is brilliant from the team. And jumping ahead to the end of the season in the Bundesliga, we were so close to winning the Bundesliga title, a single point behind Bayer Leverkusen. It was our best season so far, but we came up short. But honestly, I'm very happy with how the team is performing. A single point off in the Bundesliga, semifinals of the Champions League. We are doing fantastic. Really happy with how the team is performing. Let's get into Season 4. Here we are in Season 4. I am really struggling to decide on what players I want to bring in because I really like this team. Players like Max Cruz are 85 overall somehow. And I am just really liking this team. I'm struggling to figure out where I want to improve, but there needs to be some improvement this season. We have to do better and sign at least a player. And we should have plenty of money to do that. We are starting off with 82 million as our initial budget. That should be able to get us a huge player if we decide to go that route. But before we do any business, I just wanted to show you this. These two goalkeepers, Juan Carlos, a seemingly random goalkeeper, is 92 overall. And I looked him up. He starts off as a 71 at age like 27. So he's managed to go up so many ratings in 3 seasons. I just don't understand it. As well as the goalkeeper we sold in Season 1, Beneglio. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's up to an 88 for some reason on Arsenal. So that's fun. I'm glad. I don't know how that's even possible. Let me know if you know, because I've never seen that before. But anyways, as our first piece of business, we are going to be selling Luis Gustavo to Barcelona for 21.5 million. Someone I wanted to keep around, but we need this team to grow. And for his replacement, we have a huge signing, Sergio Busquets, 65 million. He's going to be an amazing asset to the team. Welcome to Wolfsburg. And Busquets was our only signing of the window here on deadline day. So having a look at the team, Busquets just adds another level to this team. I really like it. I love the attack. I love the midfield. This team just looks great, and I have really high hopes for the season. Really hoping we can go all the way this time. So let's see how we do come January. This was also our Champions League group for the season. Valencia, PSV, and Basel. We should be able to get out of that easy. Let's go on to January. Jumping forward to January 1st, we are sitting in second place in the Bundesliga. We're doing quite well. Bayer Leverkusen is doing even better. They are undefeated on the season, so it's going to take a big job to catch up to them. But second place, I am happy with that come January. During the January window, I wanted to sign some backups for the squad as some more depth, so we signed Kieran Gibbs from Arsenal for 13 million, as well as Anthony Uja from Mainz for 11 million. So those were the only signings of January. Having a look at the UCL group stage, we did manage to top the group, finishing on 11 points, tied with Valencia, putting us through into the round of 16. And in the round of 16, we had a very difficult opponent in Juventus, where in the first leg it was a 1-1 draw. But in the second leg, we managed to come out on top in a 2-0 victory against Juventus, a very tough opponent. We managed to squeak our way through into the quarterfinals. And in the quarterfinals, our opponent was Arsenal. And in the first leg, we got off on the right foot with a 2-1 victory. And in the second leg, it was another 2-1 victory, putting us through confidently into the semifinals. And in the semifinals, we were playing an unexpected opponent in Lyon, and unsurprisingly, we took care of business, and in the first leg, it was a 3-1 victory. But before we get into the second leg, we had a huge injury into the team. Our main man, Sergio Busquets, had a 3-month injury, knocking him out for the rest of the season. But even without Busquets, and despite a 1-0 loss to Lyon, we were sent through to the UCL Final. And having a quick look at the Bundesliga table at the end of the season, we managed to win the Bundesliga on 85 points, our first title of the video. Amazing. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Another trophy into the trophy cabinet. We could make it a double if we win the Champions League final. And in the Champions League final, it was a very strange opponent, someone that was in our group, Valencia. They should have a decent team in this FIFA. Maybe they have Faguli, Andre Silva, players like that. But it's a very strange opponent to be facing this late in the Champions League. And this is the squad that we are heading into the Champions League final with. I love what it looks like and how we were able to keep a lot of starting players, able to make players like Max Cruz and Andre Schürrle superstars and compete in a Champions League final. I love that. But before we get into the Champions League final, if you are enjoying the video, make sure to like and subscribe down below. And without further ado, let's get into the final. Here we are in the Champions League final, and it wasn't until the 23rd minute where we had our first chance. A cross was whipped in to a header that just barely went wide of the post, keeping it 0-0. And nothing really happened until the 35th minute, where a bit of bobbling in the box caused a shot, but was unfortunately blocked by Valencia's goalkeeper. But fortunately, thanks to a beautifully worked goal, right before halftime, Max Cruz put us up 1-0, getting his goal, putting us up against Valencia. So at halftime, the only goal was from Max Cruz. It was 1-0. We only had 45 minutes to close out the Champions League. But Valencia were not going down without a fight. Andre Gomez had his shot blocked, incredibly going just over the bar, saving us from an equalizer. As well as in the 60th minute, another save was forced out of our goalkeeper, keeping it 1-0 still. But in the 70th minute, disaster struck for Valencia. A penalty was given to one of our players, so Kevin De Bruyne stepped up. I remembered how to take a penalty, and he finished it, putting us up 2-0 in the Champions League final in a great spot for the rest of the game. And to put the nail in the coffin, Kevin De Bruyne put his second goal away of the day, putting us up 3-0 in the Champions League final, putting the nail in the coffin. So as the halftime whistle blew, we were champions of Europe, winning the Bundesliga and the Champions League in this season, completing the rebuild. So if you guys did like this video, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and tell me any more ideas you want to see me do in the comment section. I would love to see them. And thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.
They provided the fireworks on the pitch. Terrific team, and for them, a place in the history books.
Time to enjoy, time to celebrate.